Yo, yo, yo. Man, these news cycles has been going like bananas up through here like the last few days, man. There's so much content out here and so many subjects that can be touched on and so many ways to see it. My mind's spinning, to be honest with you. I guess like a backlog of stuff that I need to go ahead and touch on. I just got through recording a couple of videos that I'm gonna release probably like later on the night or tomorrow or something, to try to pick up the pace a little bit, get y'all some more stuff out there. I was looking at my man Shail channel over there. Y'all should check him out over there, which y'all probably remember. Some of y'all that familiar with my content know about Shail from me and Karate J going back and forth. But I see he ran across an article of late showing that Chapo is basically giving up information on the old man now, old man Mayo. And that's something that I covered on his channel when me and Karate J was going back and forth. When my son pulled up on me, let me know what was going on. He pulled me up on the stage and let us two get at it a little bit. And shout out to him. You know, uh, it's a lot going on with that whole subject there too. And I'm gonna go ahead, maybe the next couple of days, tap in on that a little bit and go over some of it. But today we're gonna talk about this one particular subject. This young lady right here, Sabi Sabs. I frequent her channel quite a bit. She be really putting together some really, really good stuff, man. Really good topics and unique perspectives on it or whatever. So I definitely want to give her a shout out. And for whoever checked this out, man, go over there and look at her, man. She got a lot of good stuff over there. And I'm going to be reviewing one of her videos today. And the base of the video is Hard Truth. Whitney Webb and Suge Knight were right. And it's speaking on this whole thing going on with Diddy, and Whitney Webb goes into a deeper talking about the actual music industry. And one of the videos I just did was basically on Jeffrey Epstein. So a lot of this tie in together in a weird way, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to slide on this first topic right here. Here we go.
To tell you guys as well that it's some crazy stuff that's going on. It's some crazy stuff, like places you just don't want to be. Things that I've been told, things that I've read, like, you guys know a lot of people get trafficked at the Super Bowl. You guys know that? Now ask yourself this question: who can afford to go to the Super Bowl? Because I can't. Who's most likely to be at the Super Bowl?
I think right now, America, well, actually everybody around the world is waking up. But America's really waking up. And this goes even to the whole Louis Vuitton, Birkin bag, all that whole episode there with the tariffs and finding out that a lot of the things that became logos that we grew up with and to state or symbolize luxury, all these things is called into question. Even if we go back to when the Russians opened up their temple, I think a 12th or 13th century temple, and showed that basically all the patriarchs that were being displayed in that temple were of color, which is quite different from what we believe and we see today. So the whole world is being shaken up, man. And I was telling one of the guys that usually frequent the channel quite a bit more, was telling him, it's a lot of moving pieces, man. It's a lot of stuff going on at one time. And it's almost like you get overload when you start to get different perspectives and you can see certain things that's not as clear to others. So basically, the statement that she made there, that's absolutely true. Things are really getting weird. But a lot of these things, as we go through the video, were already stated, but people, get off into conspiracy theory and all that. And I often tell people when they say that, I went to and I did federal time for conspiracy. So conspiracy is real, but why is it real when the powers that be want to use it? But when you're evaluating the powers that be, you don't want to line it up together. You want to go by what they say, that is clearly. But we're going to get a little bit deeper into that. So let me go ahead and slide on this next clip.
Story, but the main thing is that justice for all.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I don't think Cassie is in a situation where she has to lie. I don't think she's in a situation where she got to be worried anymore. I think she's in a great place with another baby on the way. And I still feel that Puffy's going to be all right and have a fair shot at it, because Puffy he's not a dummy. And I'm quite sure somebody's going to talk to those jurors and convince one or two of them. That's all he needs is one.
Suge Knight just said, I'm pretty sure that someone's going to talk to the jury, one or two of them. All you need is one or two of them. So he's publicly talking about jury tampering, just out in the open here, like during this interview on News Nation.
And just listen to Miss Sabs. Like I said, she got a real good channel. You guys need to check her out over there. But her voice, even though she's on quite a bit of stuff, but I mean, as far as being familiar with picking out and peeping a lot of these inconsistencies, but it's almost like, and it's embarrassing to say, if you don't have no experience with like street experience or experience with the legal system, and the deeper you go with it, the more experience you get, and to see how that line up, this stuff is moving. A lot of stuff that's going on is moving pretty much according to how criminals operate. Let's just be honest. So she's kind of taken back when Suge Knight says something about maybe a possible jury tampering type of situation. But from the world that I'm from, that's not surprising. That's really nothing. And you hearing how he going through the Cassie situation, saying she's pretty much in a good spot. But you're going to hear how Suge Knight continues to go on talking about this whole Puffy trial. And Miss Sab's going to say something soon that I was in the thinking of until I started listening, because I stopped paying attention for a while. But I started listening more to what Willie D was saying. And I started looking into it again. I was like, aha, there may be some there. But check this out.
Just making it out and clear. And I want you to take what he just said there and think about the powerful people that Diddy was around. Because some people are saying there's no way he's going to walk. He's done, We don't know what could happen. To Suge's point, if they can get one of those juries or one or two of the jury members to flip, and I think we all can guess who they may be, that's it.
Again, another important perspective. But I think it's important to keep in mind that once I started to looking at this, because I was also in that school of thought thinking it's over by going through the federal system with myself. As I said before, for people that know, this is my book right here. And this is the different volumes to my book, talking about my experience over there dealing directly in the Sinaloa cartel with Chapo and all that, and the old man and so on and so forth, and seeing how that whole thing went, and knowing really when them people come see you, meaning the feds, when they got you, they got you. There's no way to get away. But then looking at all the evidence and things they were supposed to be bringing against him with the drugs, this, that, and fourth, and the other. And then the prosecution team out of New York that is extremely skilled with dealing with international cases. And just to see that whole case be stripped down and the book just disappeared, the ledger or whatever, similar to Epstein situation, and this man is still around to talk about it. There's some more going on here, but let's slide on this next clip.
So at the end of the day, it's going to be a real exciting situation, but I think he's going to be all right.
Suge, do you think he's going to be all right because someone's going to tamper with the jury? Is that what you're trying to say?
He got enough influence, and I'm quite sure. Don't seem like the prosecution is that bad against him. Don't seem like I think he got some favors with the government. I think they're going to show him a little leeway. It might not.
Now he says about the favorites with the government.
I seem like it when it's all said and done, but I don't think he has nothing to worry about. I don't think he's worried because he's going to be federal. And if he gets convicted, Trump's going to pardon him. So what's the worry?
You think the president of the United States would pardon Sean Combs for sex trafficking?
Shit, he pardoned Michael Harris, who allegedly killed a Jewish teenager or had him killed. So they don't care about that. It's all about, what's in it for the long run and what the bucks say and what the power of the people want.
Suge, I got to tell you,
Trump's not scared.
I can't argue with, your eyes on the situation because you lived it and you understand the dynamics.
Now, let me unpack this a little bit for you. When Suge said that he has favors, plural, with the government. When you have favors with the government, that means you did the government favors, meaning the prosecution, meaning that you have cooperated with the prosecution of the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is the federal, and you can call those favors in. So saying he has favor with the government, that's what that means. It means that Diddy at one time, or under his belief, was at one time cooperating with the government. Now, he also goes on to state that he believed that he's going to be okay based on that. But most important, that the prosecution is not coming at him normally like federal prosecution does. And I have been noticing that. This trial stripped away from all the underage, the drugs, the actual tapes. You're not seeing none of that. They're basically putting his character on trial. That's pretty much what they're doing. And that's not nearly how a federal prosecution team works. They're ruthless and they're good, though. Very good. Okay, then he mentioned about Harry-O. And Harry-O was basically who's allegedly, actually sued him and took over, I guess, catalog with Death Row or whatever, but gave him a lot of money, allegedly, and according to some of the research out there. And he spoke about what he did, but he got pardoned. Okay, then he spoke about Trump pardoning him. Now, there's supposed to be a very close relationship between Trump and Diddy and some of the parties that Diddy used to throw as well. And we both know Trump is not afraid because Trump is who pardoned Harry-O, amongst a bunch of other people that anybody wouldn't have never touched. Okay? So let's go ahead and slide on this next topic. It's going to get thick, people. Trust and believe. It's going to get thick.
That heroin ring, by the way, was tied to organized crime interests. Mainly, I believe the Genovese crime family, which had kind of a long and storied history in the music industry through like Roulette Records and figures like Morris Levy, who, for example, funded the first hip hop label, Sugar Hill. And so, there's basically been this unorganized crime effort to dominate
those particular labels for some time. And Davis stands accused of people that were once close to, Combs and later became rivals, like Suge Knight and also his former bodyguard Gene Deal, of sort of training Diddy in this using drugs and sex to control people. Right. And also allegedly Russell Simmons of Def Jam engaged in that same type of behavior and sort of mentored Diddy in that, because Russell Simmons was obviously important, not just for Diddy, but also for Andre Harrell at Uptown Records. And that's how, Diddy, Sean Combs, first entered the music industry.
Now you listen to the young lady as she's tying things together, and she's going to get deep. She's going to get deep with the things that she's tying together with these music labels. But the names that she mentioned, which you could see, and then some of the pictures there, Suge Knight, Puffy, as well as Russell Simmons. I did a video on this about a couple of years ago, talking about the music industry, period. Boxing and art ties to the streets. All of those industries, or basically almost any industry of Black entertainment, as well as Black fashion, was initially funded by the streets. So when you look at these music labels, because let's understand, back in your day, your music with Aretha Franklin and all that, a lot of that funding, some came from families, well-to-do families, because the Black family structure was together much more than what it is today. It's not even a resemblance of what it used to be. But you also had street organization, number guys, and all that, if I'm not telling my age right here, that funded a lot of that. Because initially, anything we were trying to do, you couldn't go to a bank and fund it or nothing else. So it's important to understand, once you're talking about these mob groups and all that, getting into music, the mob was already dealing with particular Black groups. You can look at Bumpy Johnson and other street individuals. But a lot of your funding, if not all of your funding, you can go look on the internet, Dapper Dan and all, and will tell you their funding came from the streets. Russell Simmons, initial funding came from the streets. You even had Jam Master Jay that changed the way Run DMC and them dressed, because he said he was dressing the way they dressed on the streets in Harlem. That's what switched the way all of them dressed, based off of Jam Master Jay. You already know Harry O and other groups with Suge Knight, and Suge Knight went around with the Bloods of Pyrus. You already know Diddy, from the homie Big Meech, when he fell out with Wolf, which was his bodyguard, and Wolf was tied in with the street, as well as Gene Deal. His bodyguards were tied into the streets. And how he allegedly did what he did to Tupac, it was through Keefy D of the Crips, allegedly. So let's keep all this in mind. This is all a structure right here that mainstream people are not paying attention to. Okay, let's go and slide on the next thing.
When we looked at these people, we're just like, oh, it's just a record label, they're artists, they're producers, etc. But what Whitney's article, which we'll show in just a second, what that article very cleverly broke down is that these labels were more of a front for a greater organized enterprise. One that was an organized of blackmail, sex trafficking, and organized crime. That's what Whitney breaks down in that article. And she also made that connection to Epstein. So we're talking about a large network of people. This is why I say Diddy and Epstein are just two people. Ghislaine Maxwell is one other person. But who were all these other people that were pulling the strings? Some of the people she mentioned, like Clive Davis, etc. None of these people are on trial. None of them.
Understand, people, this is all about leverage and blackmail. I just did one on Epstein, which I'm gonna post up probably in a few hours after this go up. And you have to understand that's what it is. This is not new. What Diddy was doing was catching the next tier of individuals up under what Epstein was doing. Epstein had a book. Diddy had a book. Epstein's book was a little different because Epstein was dealing with ancient families, if you feel what I'm saying. Diddy was dealing with the next level, but Diddy, as of what Suge just stated, had favor with the government. Diddy was working with the government, and you can look at some of the videos on the internet, on YouTube allegedly, and he had a handler going way back. After that whole shooting thing was shine and all that, he had an FBI handler. So when Diddy was putting his book together, he was putting his book together different because he had experience working directly with the government, and he knew how to put a book together that could make himself the prime witness for everything that he wrote in that book. And if anybody know how the feds work, when you go in there, it's not no, here's your time. It's basically, if you have leverage and information, they'll cut a deal with you. Look at a video over there, Chapo's son, and how he just got 17 of his family members brought back over to the United States to be here as citizens because he's cooperating. So pay attention to that. And this ain't the first time, people. Don't forget, the mob initially under Lucky Luciano, which you thought was the boss, but really it was Meyer Linsky that was the boss. That was a Jewish gentleman. Lucky Luciano got in most of his trouble because he ran, ladies of the night houses. And part of his charges was also the Mann Act. And he was known for blackmailing for the mob, judges and things of that sort. This is an ancient trade here, people. Let's not forget this. And this whole thing is much bigger than what you think. I'm not going to talk you to death, but I'm going to slide on the next subject, but I'm going to try to keep y'all abreast of what's happening, how deep this structure go. Let's slide.
And Russell Simmons is interesting for a few reasons. One of the reasons I point out that hasn't really gotten a lot of coverage is his very early connection in the 1990s. Obviously, Def Jam was successful by then. He became very involved with this guy who later became a famous Hollywood director named Brett Ratner, who, along with Simmons, has been accused of committing sex crimes. And so now Simmons is like in Indonesia evading charges, and Ratner immigrated to Israel to avoid lawsuits related to sex assault. They're both accused separately and accused of engaging in that type of activity together. And Ratner's kind of an interesting figure, at least in recent years, because he teamed up with Steve Mnuchin's Hollywood studio to create, through his company he created with the Australian billionaire James Packer, Rat Pack Entertainment. James Packer is a major focus of the Netanyahu corruption trial currently. A lot of that is, kind of mentioned in the piece, but there's a lot there to pick on. And
you see the connection there to now bringing in Benjamin Netanyahu. So you see how this circle becomes bigger and bigger. And
now, for those of you who don't know who Netanyahu is, that's the current prime minister of Israel. That's the one that's really raising quite a bit of noise in the world today, that you see America and the European allies starting to turn on right now because of the whole situation over there with Palestine and all that, which I'm not going to touch on that. But he was already under investigation, and they're waiting to charge him for other stuff that has nothing to do with him being prime minister as soon as he get out of office. And some are saying that's the reason why he wants to stay in office, because he's going to be tried by Israel's criminal court. And you seeing that some of the people that he's dealing with is tied into some of this, all this stuff that's going on over here with the music industry, Puffy and all that. But again, you have seen none of this come up in his case. None of it. Keep that in mind. Got a little more for you. Now, the last video I play is going to blow your mind. But here we go.
So Suge Knight says that he believes that not only is Diddy going to walk, but that someone could tamper the jury. And also he said that he believes that Donald Trump would pardon Diddy. But why would Donald Trump want to do that unless there's something that Diddy knows that Donald Trump don't want out there? Remember, again, going back to the previous video, surrounded by very powerful people.
If Donald Trump was to pardon Diddy, and she said maybe it's something out there that Donald Trump don't want out there. Now, respect for the sister, because she can think, so that just may be a hint. But just based on the names that are being stated, dealing with this whole music industry and these music labels, we know it'll be a lot that he didn't want out there. And a lot of people that's wrapped up into this, it may not be in their interest for this stuff to be released. Because understand what we're talking about, people. We are talking about institutions. Old, in some cases, ancient institutions that cannot be exposed. And this is something Diddy knew. That's why he wrote that ledger or that book up the way he did. So keep that in mind, folks. Keep that in mind. I'm going to play this video once again that I just played because I'm missing a part. Hold on.
So Suge Knight says that he believes that not only is Diddy going to walk, but that
Diddy's going to walk. Now, this is something that we need to pay attention to, because understand, if there's a chance at Diddy walking, understand the powers that be won't let this man walk just for no reason. And to see there's so many similarities between Epstein and him, why did Epstein allegedly get rid of himself, but Diddy's still alive? Think about that. So if Diddy, there's a possibility of Diddy walking, it's only because they see another use for Diddy. Understand, the ledger that they have of Diddy's, Diddy filed motions to keep that ledger from being released. But that's his get out of jail free card. So why would he file it to keep it from being released? Think about this, folks. This is all signaling and the whole nine. And I'm willing to go out and say, because pay attention to what Diddy did a couple of years, year to 2 years before he got picked up. He switched his name to Brother Love. When he started catching some flack, he went and got TD Jakes. Then he started coming out on saying that he would telling Biden he would hold the black vote hostage unless we receive something. He also threatened the music industry, and you see the powerful people that's over the music industry, threatened them and told them they had 365 days to get their act together, and saying that all the black artists or whatever is what made clothes cool, made the music the kids listen to, the dancing and all that. This is all he was saying leading up to this, not to mention him going after Ciroc, which 50 Cent talked about. Now, when the Cassie thing came out, look back at that video. He had the gray hair showing in there, and he was looking distraught, saying he don't know what's wrong with him. He going to counseling and all that. Remember that. So they may be using this if he walked, this is hypothetical, I'm in silly season here, it may be something being used as a form of a way of rebranding. The next thing you know, Diddy come out and Diddy become Bishop Diddy. Let me stop playing with y'all. Okay, let me go on to this next joint, man.
How you can see it's not just Diddy. It wasn't just Epstein. It wasn't just Ghislaine Maxwell. Notice the more names that are added to this circle, it continues to expand. But you only hearing about 3 people. By you, I mean the main public. Corporate media is only talking about 3 people. Why isn't corporate media and all the people covering this trial, why aren't they mentioning Brett Ratner? Why aren't they mentioning Clive Davis?
And Ratner was basically offered the opportunity to immigrate to Israel, apparently by Netanyahu, because a week before he did so, he was Netanyahu's guest of honor at the UN alongside Alan Dershowitz, the former Epstein defense lawyer. So
that part right there. So now we have a direct line from Diddy, Russell Simmons, Brett Ratner, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Alan Dershowitz. All of these people, what I tell you, fam, sometimes, right? Sometimes I was telling people this before about the media, even the media pundits, like, right, the conservative ones and the liberal media pundits, they attack each other on camera, but behind the scenes, they're actually cool with each other and they're friends. All these people know each other.
This man was a guest of honor by the Prime Minister of Israel at the UN. Right there with the attorney that represented the epilator. Think about this, people. Think about this. And you wonder why you're not seeing no tapes. And you wonder why you're not seeing no other names being brought up in this case with the diddler. The thing that bothers me about our population over here is that we choose to not look and pay attention to what we don't want to pay attention to. And I'm not trying to get on the soapbox here. And the first thing we yell, oh, he's a criminal, or he's a this, or he in jail, he just saying that. And then when you find out the truth and you can look back at stuff people been saying, because if you go back and look at Mr. Steve Harvey and some of the stuff he was saying he had to have baby oil when he got ready to get down and do his thing. But I ain't want to gossip. You ain't heard it from me. Now, I'm not saying he was in nothing the diddler was doing. I'm just saying there's a lot of coincidences going on, and then folk will end up calling you conspiracy theorists and all this other good stuff, and you just going by what's out there. The streets have been tied into all of this. But again, I ain't never the one to gossip, and you ain't heard it from me. Let's slide on this next one.
But Whitney Webb and Suge Knight, they were right. They were right. When Suge Knight started talking years ago, people were like, oh, he's just blowing smoke and he's just talking shit because he's in jail. People were saying those things. But you see this more and more is being revealed. You see that Suge Knight was right. And you see that Whitney Webb was right. Now, you guys know they're most likely probably not going to allow Diddy to testify. They're probably not going to let him get on the stand. That was probably already arranged way ahead of time. Oh, no, 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 no. You do not let him get on the stand because you do not let him talk.
I see the comment up there. Give me a minute. Hey, y'all, give me some likes and thumbs up or whatever. He said, most likely they're not going to let Diddy get on the stand. No, 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 no. You don't want to let him talk. That's some statement made. Respect to the sister. I'm not talking about her. I'm just saying in general. This is a statement made by people that don't know no better. Because the majority of the information that get people locked up and taken down is not said on the record. And is not said on the stand. Your danger and damage that's done is done in what they federal call proffer sessions. And it's almost equivalent to the U.S. attorney putting on the priest outfit and you make confessions. And that information, a lot of time a judge don't even get to hear it or see it. So don't think just because a joker get on the stand, the most damaging stuff is not said on the stand. The most damaging stuff the judge don't even see until it's time to go to court and there's a hearing. And they still hold stuff back from the judge. But this is a street nigga right here giving you the, and I'm nigga as in Negus. But I just put an A there. And that means royalty. Okay, just for the record. So when I say that word, that's what I'm saying. And you can Google it, you'll see what it means. So what I'm saying to you is this: stop the fugazi understandings. Just because Diddy's not getting on the stand, even though I don't believe Diddy said anything, because that's how Diddy's going to, I believe, get off, because you see what I'm saying? They don't need this. But the most damage that is being done is not with somebody getting on the stand. Whenever somebody get on the stand, there's already a pre-agreement about what's going to be stated, because there's certain things the prosecution may not want to be known yet. Before I slide on this next one, let me get this comment. Okay, what's up, Unknown? Salute to you. Salute to you. I hope you give me a like and hope you continue to fall through. Hope this thing enlightens you somewhat. I ain't seen you before, but still happy to have you. Even though that name unknown makes me kind of scared because of what we talking about. You ain't one of them jokers here. You ain't been in none of them Diddy parties, how you unknown? Just joking with you, Unknown. Just joking with you. Okay, I got two more for y'all. And this last one gonna swing the heavy hammer, and I'm not gonna say a whole lot on this last one. Oh, look at here. Look who we got here. What's up with you, baby? You all right? I see you out there getting all your money, all that money. You need to let your nigga hold something. This my girl here. We go way back, almost like a day one. But she traveled the world. She be over there all through Africa and some everything. She don't play. Listen here, and ain't playing no games with you either. If you're a nigga out there and you trying to kick it, boy, she gonna take one side of the fur off your back. Good people though, real good people and about her business. Love you to death, hon. Okay, you say okay, that's what's up, love. That's what's up. Hey, y'all see that laugh right there, right? Don't you be no fool. You seen an eagle and them claws be on the eagle? She get them claws on you. I mean, you gonna make sure you get something out of it, but she ain't gonna play no games with you, nigga. That's my baby though. But Dig, about to drop these last two on you. The last one I'm gonna drop on you. You gotta catch what you gotta catch what's happening, because it's gonna be a music industry joker. You better catch it. I see the comment up there. Give me a hot second.
Because if Diddy were to get on the stand and talk, who is he taking down with him? If you have not had the chance to do so, please, 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 when you get a chance, read this article. One Label Under Blackmail, the early intersections of the Diddy and the Epstein network. Eric, can we put the link in the chat?
Now, I'm gonna play this last. Well, I'm gonna hold this last. I'm gonna play this last, but I'm gonna play one thing before this to let you know why I understand and I see what's going on. Because this was the same stuff that they're doing. It's the same stuff they were doing over there in Mexico. And I was over there when they were, what's in my book? So I go instead. When they were basically escorting the actresses and the A, B list actresses, unless you going with a cartel boss, and the woman that would be on the news media for the weather and all that. And I'm not lying to you. That's all facts. Well, I ain't gonna play that video, but I'm saying that's all facts. All this stuff is, I'm telling you, man, is I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, this is exactly how that ran over. It's all the same shit. Same shit. Okay, baby, I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm gonna be quiet now. Okay, now I'm about to hit y'all with this last joint. You got to put it together for yourself, though. Now, remember, we're talking about music industry individuals. This individual here runs Universal Music Group, and it's very powerful. We didn't talk about the prime ministers, UN, and all this, and how this thing could possibly, allegedly run up all the way there. But check this out.
This is Elliot's father, Sir Lucian Grange. Sophia and Elliot were spotted in London this morning, and both of them have ties to the royal family. Lionel Richie is performing the coronation concert. Here's him at Buckingham Palace. While I don't think Sophia and Elliot will be at the actual coronation, the fact that these two have strong ties to King Charles is so crazy to me. Sir Lucian was knighted in 2016 by Prince William, awarded knighthood during the Queen's 90th birthday celebration for his contribution to the music industry and his British business. He's from London, but it's an LA-based record, and he's worked through the ranks at Universal UK. And Lionel Richie had a really special connection with Princess Diana. At the time, Diana told Richie that Hello was her favorite song. And when Prince William attended a concert several years later, he dedicated the song to the family. Sophia and her best friend Allie are posting in London. I just think it's so funny that the couple that broke the internet is now relevant for the King's coronation, but missed the Met Gala. Just in time from the honeymoon.
That is Sir Lucian Grange. That's Sir Lucian Grange's son, married to Lionel Richie's daughter. And you've seen the whole video there. Sir Lucian Grange. Oh, this doggone camera. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I'm back like that. So Sir Lucian Grange was named in the very first lawsuit against Diddy for funding and allegedly. Sir Lucian Grange was also somebody that Kanye Crazy West went on a rant about and called him Drake's baby daddy. So I just leave that there. But as always, man, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for sliding in, listening to me rant a little bit. Go check out Savvy Sass, man. Sister really gets down and taps on and goes deep on subjects, man. I think y'all like that over there. Give me some likes, give me some follows, subscriptions, and all that other good stuff that comes along with that. And at the end of the day, as I always say, I'm trying to fuck with you, and hopefully at the end you'll continue and consistently fuck with your boy. But as always, keep this in mind, my people. We got next. Deuces.